On this episode of How Bad Can It Be? We're checking out a movie that belongs here just based on the title alone. But sometimes that can be deceiving. But let's take a look at Hell Comes to Frogtown and the whole Frogtown saga to find exactly, how bad it could be. Let's see if we can get through these without croaking. Sorry.
This journey begins back in 1988 with Hell Comes to Frogtown by Donald G. Jackson, creator of the Rollerblade 7 films.
And oh my god, what have I done? Why am I doing this?
Well, we find out that we're set in a post-apocalyptic world 10 years after everything was blown up, and we're introduced to our hero, Sam Hellman, referred to as Sam Hell, the Hell of the title, and we're told that he's been captured, and let's see, he was accused of sexual assault, although he says he's innocent, but after finding out that she was pregnant, the victim changed her story because she was happy to have a child, because fertile males are extremely rare. So Rowdy Roddy here is strapped with a junk lock and tasked with working for the government. The great William Smith is here, who also was in Rollerblade 7, so obviously he and Jackson are friends, or else Donald has some blackmail material on him or something. And here's where I tell you that Sam's chastity belt will electrocute him if he tries to run away like some sort of bathing suit region dog collar. And Valeria here has to occasionally tease him in order to keep his testosterone levels up. Then there's a whole sequence where they find a wild, fertile woman in the desert, drug her, and make Sam impregnate her. It takes some convincing to get him to do it, so it would seem that the earlier allegations of assault would most likely be false, and then they head into Frogtown on a mission to save some women. There he runs into Looney Tunes, or Kit Carson, and yes, in case you're curious, Frogtown is full of frog people, which are actually some fun effect suits. They get captured, Hell gets his codpiece removed, and they are freed with the help of Arabella, a frog woman. Sam makes his big entrance.
Eat left, froggies!
Well, it's not I came to chew bubblegum and kick ass, but it'll do.
They rescue the woman and get loose, although that's all, folks. There's a final confrontation with Captain Devlin at the notorious Vasquez Rocks, and then Commander Toady, who he kicks off a cliff. And you know what happens to a toad when you kick it off a cliff?
The same thing as everything else.
So we really don't know the year here because it's just somewhere in the future, but we know that it's 10 years after the apocalypse. So for our purposes, we're going to call it A plus 10. So amazingly, a sequel was made a few years later in 1993 with Return to Frogtown, also known as Frogtown 2, and Jackson returned to the director's chair. The frogs decide that it's their turn to rise up, and then there's this Rocket Ranger, kind of a Rocketeer sort of guy, and he's someone who's a little used to seeing green people. Marshall Murdoch is here, and Sam Hell is back, and he grew a mustache and like 15 pounds of chin as Robert Zadar takes on the role. Sam's a member of the Rangers now, so he's lost his outlaw status, and Spangle is back too, but she's also been recast by someone who might consider the frogs to be some sort of subspecies. Toady, I guess, is still alive, but a cyborg now, and Sam teams up with Don Stroud, and Spangle is captured again. The frog's plan is to turn humans into frog-human hybrids with the help of Max Jenke, and the humans have a computer interface named Fuzzy that's up all night, and Shroud and Sheer are both also featured in the Rollerblade 7 movies, and even though this one's nowhere near as entertaining as the first one, it does have a musical number by a frog band. And it's not like they just walk in and the band is up there playing. No, we get an entire song's worth of performance.
Don't come messing with me. I'm just as mean as can be. Frog legs that you pump it and bring you misery. I am bigger and badder
While escaping, Sam says he fought Commander Toady a few years ago, and since 5 years passed in real time, I think it's fair to say that the same amount of time has passed here, so we'd be A plus 15. And man, Zadar really isn't into this. I know that he's not really known for being a good actor, and really isn't right for these kind of hero roles anyway, but he's barely even trying to act here.
All right, little buddy, just nod yes or no.
Sam, why should he cooperate?
He will. If I take this bandage off, are you gonna be a good little frog?
They end up having a big shootout in the old Paramount Ranch, which was an old west town that used to be out in the woods in Malibu, and I had a chance to go check it out back in 2015, and it's currently being restored after being really damaged by fire a few years ago. The Doc is killed, Toady loses his head, and the evil frog Czar is then revealed to be the Doctor, although I guess it's his twin brother. That does not make sense, and he's blown up, and the day is saved. So a few years later, in 1996, things got weird with Toad Warrior, which was occasionally known as Hell Comes to Frogtown 3. It features Scott Shaw from Rollerblade 7, who also co-wrote and directed here, and it kicks off with that trademark Scott Shaw fight choreography as he rescues Agent Glory, 90s adult film star Jill Kelly. This is the first one in the series to be shot using the whole Zen filmmaking thing that was the whole MO with the Rollerblade 7 series. Zen filmmaking is apparently just literally getting together with friends and going to a location and shooting with no script or anything, just filming. Another RB7 cast member is here as Joe Estevez appears as Mr. O'Malley, who's supposed to be some sort of government head, but just sits in a weird room with just a throne thing covered in a bunch of drapes or a parachute or something. I mean, seriously, what is this room? There's a character called Humphrey Bullfrog, which is about the highest level of clever that we're going to see here, and they kidnap the scientist who is coming up with a formula to fix human and frog DNA. And there's another musical number. All right.
Each time I see your princely smile, why don't you take me to your lily pad? We could play tadpole for a while.
The frogs are pretty much just reduced to regular people wearing whatever frog masks that they had left laying around after the other films, and Spangle is back as yet another actress. Everything is just terrible now. This is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and then they just shoot next to an active highway with tons of cars going by.
What are you doing in this territory?
What am I doing here? I'm looking for my gator, my little purple gator.
There are no gators here.
Is this the same continuity as Roller Gator? Do I have to show clips from Roller Gator as long as I don't ever have to watch it again? Ever.
Max says that O'Malley released the Green Plague, I guess insinuating the frogs are the fault of him and not the nuclear war. I mean, is there even a nuclear war here? Is this a different continuity? I mean, there's no Rocket Rangers or anything. No mention of Sam, and oh god, Roller Gator is here, and now my day is ruined.
Yeah, what do you want, Gator?
Hey!
Yeah.
I was just out back.
Yeah.
Did we have a guest?
Yeah.
Who?
My good old friend Max was here.
Max? Oh, hell! I missed him.
Mark my words, Roller Gator ruins everything.
Like, if you didn't know what Roller Gator was, and that it was a separate movie, you would have no clue what was going on here. This scene doesn't affect the movie at all. Neither of these characters are seen again.
Do you have any idea of the amount of torture that I can put you through in here?
Is that Jackson and Shaw speaking to me directly? I feel like they're taunting me here.
There's no plot really, it's just this whole meandering scene-to-scene thing like RB7, but without an ounce of its weird charm.
Tea.
Take a
Take a tea. And then you ought to see.
Take a she.
And then you shake it all up. No, shake it. Shake it all up. And while you're shaking, and then you get an I, and then you get a J, and then you twist it.
Just this for over an hour. But then I'm not sure if this was intentional because it makes no sense, but Max has the exact same scene with the exact same dialogue with 3 different characters.
I suppose there's some more important things in life, but I just haven't found them yet.
You're a whore.
And so,
I like it. You know, Max, I've known a lot of men. They've always hurt me.
I suppose there's some more important things in life, but I just haven't found them yet.
You're such a whore.
And so,
So, I like it. You know, Max, I've known a lot of men. They've always hurt me.
yeah, I suppose there's some more important things in life than, money. But I just haven't found them yet.
You're such a whore, Max.
And so,
So, kinda like that. Known a lot of guys, Max. They've always hurt me.
I think maybe it was supposed to be a joke, but it doesn't come off that way. It just comes off as weird and confusing, especially since after they show all 3 conversations, they go back and show the whole conversation again, but this time they cut between the 3 versions. Max rescues Trixie with like no opposition, and it actually ends with a to be continued, although mercifully it was not. With no real connection to the original from a story standpoint, and the only similarities actually the presence of a Spangle and the Hell last name, it appears as if this is actually a different continuity, especially as there's several things to contradict the other 2. And Jackson has stated that it was intended as a standalone story, so we're setting it as a different timeline. And since there's no real sense of time frame, we're calling an alternate universe 1996 for no reason other than I don't really want to think about it anymore. Don't get tricked though, because in 2002 there was another film entitled Max Hell Frog Warrior, but was merely a release of Toad Warrior. It runs a bit shorter and is slightly, and I mean slightly, more coherent. There's also Max Hell in Frogtown, a Zen speed flick, which is this same film cut down to 30 minutes, which might be the best way to view this one.
So there you have it. It's 3 movies, which I guess they're trying to pretend is 5 because they've got the same movie reissued several different times. And yeah, only one of them is really worth watching. I enjoy the first Hell Comes to Frogtown with Roddy Piper. It's actually quite a bit of fun. I remember watching it back in the day. I think it was up on USA Up All Night that I saw that. A lot of fun, silly, crazy movie, and fairly enjoyable. It's not bad, but the second one goes straight into very, very low quality, low grade, B straight to DVD, schlocky kind of stuff. It's just not as charming. And then the third one is really hard to watch. It has that whole Rollerblade 7 thing happening for it, but just doesn't. It doesn't feel as quirky and interesting as that one did. I don't know why Rollerblade 7 seems more interesting to me than this did, because this was just kind of dreadful. But regardless, these movies they're fairly bad. Even the first one, which is enjoyable, it's still a pretty bad movie, but fun. I'd check that one out. I'd skip the others if I were you. If you've seen these, like these, whichever, let me know down in the comments below. Share your thoughts about Frogtown and Rowdy Piper's, I guess, second most notorious role after being in They Live, I guess. Let me know that. And please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that little bell. Send me some comments. Send me some emails. Whatever. Do all that good stuff. and just send it right here. And then also check out my Patreon page on patreon.com/movietimelines. You can help support the channel. These guys over here do, and they are awesome for doing so, and I thank them, and I thank you for watching the video. Hello? Well, I thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it, and I see you very shortly for another great video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.